Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Knit State of Mind podcast. This is episode 23. Today is Saturday, February 20th. We're coming here from Oakland, California. We have some sunshine. Heather and I, we have some finished objects to share, a few whips. It's been a little while. I've been knitting pretty monogamously, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Heather's been up to. And just for our info, for any new viewers, I'm Wanda. You can find us on Instagram and Ravelry as Knit State of Mind. You can find me on Ravelry as Waddy Watt. I don't really post to my IG too much lately, but my personal, semi-personal IG is Dustin Class.
And you can find me on Ravelry as Heather T and on Instagram as Heather T3, although I also don't post there very often. But we do try to keep the Instagram stories going on Knit State of Mind.
We're trying our best. I don't know why it's such a challenge, but hey,
Yeah. It ebbs and flows, right?
it does.
Yeah.
As with all things, right? All right. So we're both wearing some finished objects,
Yes.
a little bit of mohair in it. So I can kick us off. So if you've been watching, I've spoken about this sweater for a couple of episodes now, and it's finally done. So this is my Favo sweater. It's a pattern made by Larka from Fiber Tales. It requires one strand of worsted weight with a strand of mohair, and so some of you may have seen on IG. It was perfect. We were out in San Francisco the other day, and it was quite windy by the ocean, and so this was perfect with this weight. My plan is just to use it as a jacket on chilly days, evenings out here in the bay. But anyway, let me show you.
Oh, it looks so great. I mean, every time, you guys, literally every time I see a picture of it, I have to text Wanda and tell her how much I love it. I love this sweater.
I'm so happy, y'all. So this is the front. And I'll try to de be decent with showing you the back. Can you see that? So I love this thing. I think it's wonderful as a maker when you make something and you truly love it. Like there are things that I like, and I think this might be the first sweater I've made, first garment, because I've done a lot of short
Hmm.
sleeve or sleeveless things that I can say I absolutely love.
Hmm.
Um, I thoroughly enjoyed making it. I love the color. I love the feel. I love the fit. The fit worked out. So I'll talk about it a little bit. It's knit in pieces. Recommended the designer recommended starting with the back piece if honeycomb brioche was new for you. So I knit the back, the front. I blocked those pieces. I knit the sleeves two at a time, and then everything is seamed together. So some of you may have also noticed that I had ran out of yarn. I was very close to finishing the sleeves. I thought I was going to make it. And then I debated if I wanted to just use the worsted weight yarn for the collar and decided, come on, like you've invested all of this, go ahead and buy some more mohair to finish the collar off. So blocked the sleeves after those were done. Once everything was blocked, I seamed it together, picked up stitches for the neck band, and I was a little bit worried. You can never tell. You never know. I was a little bit worried it would be a bit too wide, but this width, this circumference works perfectly. It's a different style for me, but I think for this thickness it works. So lots of cool stuff going on here. The honeycomb brioche. We have some cables running down the front, some small, where are the bobbles? The bobbles, some small bobbles. And then this braid detail that I love, it's on the front and it's on the back. Oh, I'm just like touching it. So lovely. Um, and I enjoyed the seaming process too. I think it's interesting when you're knitting and you're trying things for the first time. So I did mattress stitch for this. I've done other types of seaming, but I did mattress stitch for this. And there are just things about knitting and making that are so magical to me, right? Similar to knitting the gusset on a pair of socks and how it just comes together. So it's really cool on the sides because particularly in the ribbing, you see how the mattress stitch just disappears. But with the honeycomb brioche sections, it's visible, and I thought that was going to bother me, especially in the sleeves. Um, but it works. Like it actually looks like a design element and it works. So that's the seaming worked out fine. I think the sleeves is what I was most anxious about, but it worked out fine. I use a fingering weight yarn to seam that together and just the one strand of worsted on the other sections. I'm going on and on about this sweater. And I knit it 5 inches longer than the pattern called for. And that length worked out for me. So that's what I mean. The fit is perfect. The length worked out for me. I ended up knitting, I knit the first size. I think I was a little concerned about how wide some of the other ones were that I had seen. And this still has lots of space, but it just, the look works for me. So it just, especially with the bottom up sweater, you never know. And this one worked out. I've worn it quite a few times already too, which is kind of crazy. Because I have a lot of knits that are just sitting around. So yeah.
We're back. We had to take a little break for a minute, but we were talking about how much we love Wanda's sweater and the fit and everything about it, and how amazing seaming is. I love mattress stitch. It's one of my favorite things to do because you're right, it is magical. You just, and then zip and it all, yeah.
It's so cool.
That's so cool.
So
Yay. Well, I'm glad you're so happy with the sweater. It definitely looks amazing. I think I was telling you, but just to tell our viewers, I drove past somebody recently on that was like walking down the sidewalk by the grocery store who had on a sweater with honeycomb brioche on the sleeves. It looked like it was like a raglan and the body was stockinette and the sleeves were honeycomb brioche. And
yeah.
I was like driving by, like looking at her, and it was really awkward.
Yeah.
But it did make me want to find a sweater with honeycomb brioche sleeves that I could make.
I'm so curious about where that sweater's from.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe she knit it, maybe she bought it somewhere. I don't know. Yeah.
That's what's so funny when you have those double takes and you see something that looks hand knit or crocheted, and it's like, that's kind of cool. And I find myself wanting to strike up conversations with people.
Totally. I saw one time I was in Alameda, which is a city right near Oakland, and I saw a woman wearing, for a while, there was an Isabel Kramer sweater that was really, really popular. I think it's called Humulus.
Mhm.
And I saw a woman who for sure was wearing that sweater. And I know it had to be hand knit because it was like such a recognizable pattern. But I didn't say anything to her. I thought I wasn't wearing anything hand knit at the time, and I thought it would be kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I
But
love it.
maybe not. I don't know.
Wear sightings.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about what you're wearing.
So I am wearing my Anya sweater. I did finish this. It is a, I talked about it on our last episode, but it is a top down yoked sweater, and it has like a lace and bobble pattern on the front. Can you see that at all?
Yes.
I can't tell with the light. So I'm really happy with this pattern. I love the chart. I think it came out really great. It's kind of a cropped length, so you can see that I'm wearing it here with kind of like a swingy little dress, and I think this is my favorite way to wear it. Um, I actually originally, when I first finished it, I knit it about 2 inches longer. And then I just felt like that was a really awkward length. It was kind of like in between. And because of the width of the sweater, so it's like probably should be a little bit wider, actually. I wish I would have made it a little bit wider so it was more clearly like boxy. But anyway, so I'm moderately happy with it. I like it with this dress. I think like the length to width ratio just isn't quite right in retrospect, which is just me not choosing the right size to knit, or I don't really know. But I'll definitely wear it. It's comfy, it's cozy. I love the yarn. So this is Biches Bouche, one strand of the Le Petit lambswool and one strand of Le Petit silk and mohair in a dark green color. So really love the yarn, love knitting with it. So yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed knitting it and making it. And it's kind of like you're saying though, this isn't one of the sweaters where I'm like,
Mm,
yes, this is the most amazing sweater. I'm gonna wear it every day. But that's okay. You win some, you lose some.
exactly.
Yeah.
Everything has, all of them have their purpose.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love that. I love the green.
Yeah.
That green.
I love this color, and I have a scarf in this color that it's made out of lace weight yarn, which I was like really into using a long time ago, and I don't knit very often with lace weight anymore. And it's just kind of like lost its shape over the years. So I was thinking maybe I want to buy some more yarn, either this exact Biches Bouche or a different like olive green, and make myself a new scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the, oh, what's the name of, because I love that green and I've been dying. I have some yarn, different weights that I've been dying to get something going. But there's a shawl from way back when that you and I were both talking about making. And the sample is in an olive green like that.
Speaky.
Yes.
Because that's why I originally bought this yarn.
Oh, is
And
it?
then there was some reason that, no, I started making it in a different yarn. I didn't like it. So I bought this yarn to make it. And then I got distracted and I made a sweater instead. Yeah.
Because that color for that pattern, it goes really well. It's spot on. We'll see.
Yeah.
I have some.
That's a pattern by Dawn Henderson.
Yeah,
For those of you who, yeah.
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 I have a little bit of that Biches Bouche mohair left over from the Pappas hat, the cream
Mhm.
one, and I've been trying to decide what to make with it. And I did see a new pattern that requires a worsted weight yarn and a mohair yarn
Mm.
together, and it's brioche. So I'm debating that. It's the Earth and Air. I can't remember the design.
Hmm.
I saw it in passing on IG and thought that could be pretty cool to make.
Nice. Well, do you have any other FOs?
I do. These are. Hmm. I have a finished pair of socks, but I'm trying to.
Sorry, and then I had muted myself because there was background noise outside. Yes, they're the morning coffee socks, right?
So you can see the pattern in that, right? So yeah, navy blue socks, Malabrigo sock yarn. These I casted on, I want to say 2 summers ago, during a road trip to and from Washington State out here on
Mhm.
the West Coast. And so these are by Kay Litton, Crazy Sock
Mhm.
Lady. Morning coffee socks. The pattern calls for 56 or 64s. For some reason, I decided to do 60 stitches. And I've decided, well, I originally casted them on as a gift knit, and I am going to still gift them. Really cool, straightforward pattern. Um, it's got me kind of intrigued by the twisted
Mhm.
cuff. I'm
Mhm.
trouble with words right now. The twisted rib cuff.
Yeah.
I love the look of that, and it seems like it cinches in more. So I might try that on some other socks, and then we just kind of have a knit and purl type of 4 row pattern going on here. You know, the
Yeah.
heel and flap. And then I was telling Heather I did the Finchley graph on the toes again, and we were talking about it, and I said, I get why you thought it was so finicky when you tried it because I don't pull it through the bottom here. I basically just fold the socks inside out and then pull the needles through to get it on the wrong side to do the Finchley graft. So, and to me, it's pretty efficient.
Yeah. I might have to try it again now that I know a better way to turn it inside out.
But, I understand you sticking to the Kitchener because you know it. You've been doing it
Right.
a long time. And this is how much yarn I have left.
Oh,
Such a
that's a pretty good amount. You can do something with that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make some shorties. I realize that I'm more prone to wear shorties, so I need to plan out some shorties. If anyone knows any good patterns for that, I have some self-striping yarn, and that was tempting me to look into knitting toe up.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't done yet, but so
Mm-hmm.
that I can do the foot and then just make it whatever length um, the yarn comes out to. So I don't know if you know good toe up sock pattern
Yeah.
or how you feel about toe up sock patterns.
I've tried it a few times. But for some reason, I don't like the fit of them as well, which doesn't make any sense because it's the same circumference, right?
Yeah.
Like the amount of stitches you have at the toe and the amount you have on the foot is the same. But I think maybe there's something different about my gauge when I start on that really small circumference that makes them, they always come out too big for me for some reason.
Huh.
Um, so because of that, I am pretty good at estimating how much yarn I need for a sock. So I don't, if
Yeah.
I want to use up all my yarn, I just do top down with an afterthought heel.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense too. Hmm. So we'll see. I haven't been able to make up my mind, so I have not casted on any new socks yet.
Yeah.
So what else do you have going on?
Well, speaking of little leftover bits of sock yarn, so I have some FOs. The first two are things that I made out of leftover fingering weight yarn. So this is actually not sock yarn, but usually I'd make these out of sock yarn. So this is the Pearl Soho heirloom hats for babies pattern. And the pattern is free and it has three options. One is striped and there's a couple different solid color ones. So I make the striped one on repeat.
Yeah.
So this is the leftover yarn for my Awa Awa wrap. So yeah, so I just like to make these and put them in the gift box for, if somebody at work has a baby or something like that. So that's one. And then this is the other one. This is some naturally dyed yarn from Lana Plante. And I had made a blanket out of this a few years ago for some friends for a wedding gift. And I just really enjoy the yarn. It's a nice springy, like natural. I think I want to say they have a farm and it's like their wool and they naturally dye it. So
Very nice. It's a
yeah,
good use of that's a good use of leftover yarn for sure. Yeah.
yeah, I like it. And it's just like a cute little, and I've, gotten lots of pictures of friends with their babies wearing them. So I do know that babies wear them. So yeah.
Colors from the Hour Hour wrap.
Yeah, I love these colors. It almost made me sad I didn't knit like a little stripy sweater or something with the yarn. I might have to get more of that yarn. And then I have two pairs of gift socks that I finished. When I store them, I have lately started storing them with the yarn tag because a few years ago I made something for, I forget if it was my niece or my nephew, but my stepsister had asked me about the care instructions, right? Like how to wash the yarn. And that's actually on the label. So what I started doing is just like sending the gift with one of the yarn tags.
That's such a
So
good idea. Brilliant.
yeah. But so these are a pair of, this is Knit Picks Felici in the color Chickadee. This is a men's sized sock. There are two of them. Or I guess you don't have to be a man. It's a large foot size sock. It is for a man in this case. And the heel is Knit Picks Stroll Dove Heather. So there's that one. And then the other one is a smaller sock. And this is Felici. The color is Material Girl. And the same Dove Heather for the heels, toes, and cuffs. So this one took pretty much the whole 50-gram ball of Felici.
Mm.
And the heel, the cuff, and the toe is a different yarn.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's just like how much I can get out of, and it's 64 stitches on a size 0. So
Yeah, that's just helping me gauge what you get from 50 grams.
yeah,
It varies from brand to brand, but yeah.
yeah. So yeah, those are all my FOs.
All right. What are you working on?
A few things. So first of all, this isn't very exciting, but I did start another pair of gift socks. So So this is Felici. I think the color is like firefighter or fire truck or yeah, firefighter.
Nice.
Um, so that's those so far.
Well, a good color combo.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out. So I was trying originally to make them match, and I started them both at the red,
Yeah.
but then the stripes, there's like some wider stripes and some narrower stripes.
Oh,
Um, and I'm trying to remember if this is, I guess I'll see when I get farther, if this is a regular repeat, like it's a wide red, a narrow dark gray, whatever, and it repeats, or back in the day, maybe there's some of you out there who remember this. Felici used to be random striping.
oh,
So the stripes on Felici did not used to be a regular repeat. It was in fact very difficult to get two matching socks out of Felici because there would be wide stripes and narrow stripes, and it was like something that was kind of like funky about Felici. And then they changed it to make it more regular, which I get why, because most people, I don't know, I guess there's enough people that prefer their socks to be matching. But I can't remember if this is an older ball that maybe was back from the random striping days, or if it is going to be not random, but I just started them at the wrong places. So
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. To be determined.
But I don't think the person I'm making them for will care if they match or not. So
That's all that matters.
yeah.
Well,
I've got a few more things, but do you have one?
I have one whip um that I've been pretty monogamous with. So I while I was waiting for the yarn for Favo to come in, I cast it on the Heirloom jumper by Fabel Knitwear. I think I've spoken about
Mm.
it before. And it's been a joy to make. So I'll just show you.
Oh my goodness. Are you done with the body? Well,
No,
not quite, almost.
I'm almost done. Can you see that? It's so hard to know how to hold.
Such a beautiful color.
Um, Thank you. The color worked out wonderful.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, what do I want to say about this? It is knit with, this is how much I have left here. So I'm using the Beehive Yarns
Mhm.
umbrella,
Oh, that Selena is really showing.
and it
Yeah.
has the Selena in there, the little pops of goldish. And then I'm using, oh yeah, this is Biches. So these two held together, Biche Le Petit Silk and Mohair. And so it worked out because this tones the red down a little bit. And you just get this really nice deep red. It's extremely soft. What else do I want to say? So it's a twisted rib neckline. There are buttonholes, so this will
Mhm.
close. And then it's a super easy, another enjoyable pattern, honestly. She has two versions for the shoulders, a puff sleeve and a more subtle one. I went with the subtle one. Um, and then the lace repeat going down the middle is pretty easy as well. And there's an interesting construction. It's not a regular yoke or raglan construction. Heather, you mentioned that you think it's called contiguous. So I looked
Mhm.
it up, and that sounds
Yeah.
right. Where you kind of knit to the body size that you want.
Mhm.
You do your sleeve increases up to the point that you want. So I ended up, my gauge was a little bit off. So I ended up, at first I was going to knit the first size. I'm knitting the second size. But then I did the sleeve increases to the third size because
Mhm.
one of the reasons why some of the tops I've made I don't really wear is because the sleeves are too tight.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that adjustment makes sense. I did try it on once I split for the sleeves. And again, the magic of knitting, like when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna fit. I don't know if
Yeah.
the shoulder seam is long enough or not. But so far so good. I'm a few rounds away from finishing the ending the lace pattern, and then
Mhm.
it's 3 centimeters of ribbing at the bottom.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating going a little bit longer than the pattern suggests because I like things. I'm fine with cropped things, but I noticed too, that's another thing. If it's a little too cropped, I won't wear it.
Mhm.
But I don't know because I also am unsure about the yarn amount. So
Mhm.
I might have just enough of this based
Mhm.
on what she says, and I might find myself having to get more of this, but it's easier to get my hands on.
Mhm.
Mo-
Yeah.
So
I've
what,
read before that on a long sleeve sweater, you use about a third of your yarn for the sleeves.
oh
So I
yeah,
don't know if that's
you did
helpful.
mention that to me before.
Yeah.
So I should be fine.
Hmm.
Well, yes, because one of these will be exactly a third.
Hmm.
I've used one of these already.
Hmm.
This is what I have left. So we'll
Hmm.
see. I'm also going to do two at a time sleeves so I can like tell as I'm going.
Hmm.
Who knows, like if it's a little bit shorter,
Right. At least they match. Right.
I'll decide then if I'm going to buy more yarn, but I'll exactly they'll match.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. I'm loving it so far. I was saying that I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I can wear it. I'll be able to wear it for something, but it definitely feels like a holiday season, like
Hmm.
perfect
Hmm.
holiday season top.
Yeah. I mean, all of fall, really, too, right? I mean, I think of that color as being kind of a fall color, also.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, finally got that on the needles. I'm enjoying it.
Nice. I've really been wanting to try a pattern with that contiguous construction. I actually put several patterns in my queue recently. I don't remember what I was specifically looking for, but I was like looking for, I think, a cardigan with contiguous sleeves, and I put like several patterns in my queue, but one of these days.
Yeah, it's just a different construction. It works fine. I mean, I don't know. I like it. So
Yeah.
we'll see how the sleeves work out. I think I'm going to do the sleeves two at a time. I already said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things I figured out is that I like how raglans fit me. But I don't actually think the yoke construction fits me the best.
Mhm.
Or I need to figure out a way to like alter it to make it, because I'm smaller like through the shoulders and wider through the bust. And so a yoke, the way a yoke increases, I don't know well enough how to modify it to make it like fit right.
Yeah.
With a raglan, I kind of know how to modify it, and same with set in sleeves. But I feel like because of what you're saying about how you shape it, the contiguous might be a good, because I could start smaller,
Yeah.
but then make it bigger.
And that's exactly what they say. Like it's easy to kind of adjust and try on as you go. Like even this shoulder seam, right? Like you will go until it's like it's the right depth, the right length for your shoulder. And then it's the same going down this way too. That might
Yeah,
be the structure for you.
maybe. Well, speaking of yoke sweaters, let's do the update on Shifty.
Oh yes. Yes, yes.
So this is probably at about the same place um, that those of you out there in YouTube land saw it. But since I last showed it to Wanda, it has shrunk because I had to rip it back yet again.
Oh.
So I'm back basically to like right where I split for the armholes. Actually, I might not have split for the armholes yet last time I showed it on the podcast, but I
Yeah,
was definitely farther along
yeah.
when
I
I talked
had made
recently.
a lot more progress the last time I saw it.
So what happened is, and I did try it on, and it does fit better than it did before. I still think it's going to have the same problem as this one, where it's going to be like kind of wide, but not super wide. And maybe, I don't know how happy I'm going to be with the fit. So I have contemplated abandoning it entirely, but I'm feeling just like stubborn about this sweater. Like I put so much time into it.
Have.
I don't want to give up. Um, so that's what happened this time, is that so I was alternating this like coral color. So the brown is a Rowan wool cotton that I've had in my stash forever. And then the coral, the lime green, and the blue are Verb for Keeping Warm. Dress circle in Mesa, Succulent, and Indigo. Um, And so I knew all along that I did not have enough of the coral to do the whole sweater. So my plan was to alternate with the coral until I split for the sleeves, and then just only alternate the blue and the green. But the problem is I also didn't have enough of the green to completely alternate every row. So I was doing one row of the green and then 2 rows of the blue. But what that ended up with when I tried it on is that there was like the green is the brightest color, and it was like right across my bust. So
Yeah.
there was like a bright green stripe
Yeah.
right there. And I was like, oh, maybe I should just keep going. This isn't going to fit me that well anyways. I just want it done. But then I was like, well, no, because then you'll definitely never wear it. So I ripped it back again. So now my plan is to just do blue the whole rest of the way down the body, so
Oh,
that all of the other colors will stop basically right above the bust line, and then it'll just be blue, because I think that'll look good actually.
that works.
And then I probably will alternate all the colors on the sleeves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
a cool redesign. I could see it. Yeah.
The only problem is that I did do two blips of the blue before the sleeve split. So I just have to think about if there's a way I can change that or not. I might have to just live with that. But anyway, so that's where I'm at. So now I'm going to try and do the body again.
What is this? Take 3 on the body?
This is take 3 on the body. I mean, I've never gotten more than like 3-4 inches, but still.
Yeah.
So that's where that is. I might put it back into timeout for a little while because I'm kind of mad at it.
But we know what timeout can happen. What can happen
I
in
know, I know. So I did cast on a new sweater at the beginning of February. I had kind of decided that I was going to just try and cast on one sweater a month so that I didn't end up with a bunch of sweater whips. So like this one I started at the very beginning of January, and I've actually finished it in January. So I started Plover. I should have looked up how to pronounce it. It's a bird. But I started this in a very similar colored yarn in this Biches Buches in beige. Le Petit Lambswool. I'm in love with this yarn, as you can tell. I made this. It's just like so great to knit with. It's just like lofty and springy and woolly, and hashtag not sponsored. I just really enjoy it right now. But yeah, so I started making Plover. So I finished the whole body and started in on one sleeve.
Very nice.
And then I stopped because I have to switch it to magic loop now because the sleeve's getting too small and I just need to do that. But yeah, so this is really great. It is, it's a half brioche stitch. So you knit this middle stitch in here is, you always either just knit it or purl it. And then the other stitch is on one side, you do the yarn over like you do for brioche. And then on the other side, you knit them together. So yeah, I'm really loving it. It's going to be like really light and airy and fun to wear.
It'll be a nice staple.
What's that?
It'll be a nice staple knit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm very happy with it. The neckline is like rolling a lot, and in the picture it's flat. So I might end up ripping it out and doing a rib instead because I don't really want it to roll, but we'll see after I block it. But
yeah.
Anyway, so I just need to get the cable that's longer for magic loop out and finish the sleeves, and then I'll be basically done. Just put some buttons on it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm super happy with that. And then I have one more thing that I just started working on yesterday.
Oh, really?
So as I'm like looking at what you are wearing today and then the other sweater you're knitting, like I feel like you're always making stuff that like fits into your like color scheme and your wardrobe so well. And part of the challenge with having like a bigger stash that I've accumulated over the years is there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't, it's like, I'm like, why did I buy that color? Or I just don't like enjoy the yarn anymore, right? But I find myself sometimes, I also don't want to get rid of it because that seems wasteful, right? Because at one time I like bought the yarn or whatever. So I've been having kind of a knitting slump this week. I like barely have knit. Actually, the only thing I had worked on this whole week was those firefighter socks, which you only had a tiny bit done. And for some reason, I just got like yesterday a bee in my bonnet to use up some yarn that I didn't like.
Ooh.
Like, I know that sounds kind of weird, but like I wanted the challenge of figuring out what to do with it, right? So I've had the Andrea Mowry pattern Birds of a Feather in
Oh,
my queue for a while. Let me see if I can find a good picture. So it looks like this. And
yeah.
it has like fingering weight yarn and mohair. So I have all this random mohair that I had bought different balls of to test out for a project. And then I ended up buying like the amount I needed of the color that was right, but I had all these other balls that were the wrong color. And then I had a lot of like purple and lavender yarn,
Hmm.
which I do not like purple and lavender typically. So I must have bought them for something I was going to make for somebody else and then
We
did.
have a friend who loves purple
We
and
do have a friend who loves purple and lavender, but there's only like so many scarves I can give her before she gets tired of them. So anyway, so this is a very unexpected combination, but I think it's actually going to look really good. So I got these, sorry, okay, so I got these 2 balls of lime green mohair that are not the exact same color, but close-ish, right?
yes.
And then I wound up these 2 balls of lavender and purple.
I can see it. I can see it.
So here's what I have so far.
That's working.
Right? I'm happy with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, so when I started, I was like, if I really don't like the colors, I'll just give it to somebody else, maybe our friend that likes lavender. Hi, Laura. I don't think she watches, but if she does, maybe this will be hers. But now I'm kind of like, oh, I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do like this lime green color. That's why I had bought it, because I was trying to find the right shade for whatever the project was I was making at the time.
They're nice, and those purples are nice, and it
Mhm.
looks like it's coming together.
Yeah, so I'm happy with it. And it's also fun because I was just kind of in a slump and I just needed some like garter stitch. And
Yeah.
for the most part, it's garter. This little part is lace right here, but yeah, so just this is Cascade Heritage Silk. It's like a I think merino and silk yarn. And then this is Madeline Tosh Twist Light, which is one of my favorite sock yarns. I just don't love this particular color.
Mm.
And then Knit Picks Aloft, Tarragon, and this is Valley Yarns Southampton. I don't know what color it is, but it's a lime green. So
Yeah.
anyway, so I just kind of made myself a little sketch. Let me see if I can show it without showing too much of the pattern. I made myself like a little sketch of the shawl and what color each section is going to be, so I can, it's not going to be totally random. Like I'm trying to make it look intentional. So anyway, that was my project that I started last night.
And see, that's a playful knit state of mind.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
challenging yourself and playing with yarn, yeah, and yarn colors.
yeah. And let me see if I can use some stuff that I'm not as in love with, but and make something beautiful out of it. And again, like I know tons of people love these colors. I just personally don't really,
Yeah.
but I also want to use what I have. So
There you go. There you
yeah. So that's it.
Well, that's a lot.
Any plans for what you're going to work on coming up? I mean, obviously finish Heirloom.
I have my eye on so many things. I'm not a good planner. I kind of like to see how the spirit moves me. But yeah, I'm working monogamously on the heirloom. Probably get some stripy socks going and or some shorties, and then we'll take it from there. I'm eyeing some things. The earth and air I mentioned.
Mhm.
The one you sent me the other day by Shimu.
Yeah. Let me pull that up because I just put it in my queue. It's by
Yeah,
Ari. Is that the designer's name?
Shimuzu. I'm should pull it up too.
It's in my queue, so I should be able to pull it up.
Yeah, I
quickly.
have it too. Actually, I could have screen shared if I was prepared.
I have 979 things in my queue, by the way. Um,
Spoken about that before because I'll put things in my favorites, but I don't add it into my queue until I'm pretty sure it's going to be new. But you have a different way you organize yours, right?
so this is the sweater that we're talking about.
Yeah, each
Yeah,
you
yeah.
the name of it.
And one of the test knitters did a version in a gold. Let me see if I can find that one.
And I think I have the perfect yarn for it already. I really like the cut of that pattern. So, and I like that one in particular.
Yeah, this one I love it too. Yeah.
And then the back has well, what looks like a cable going down the back. And then it has one of those, the high neckline. So,
Yeah, so there's the let's see, cable going down. I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah. Yeah, and it's mohair also, mohair and fingering weight, I think.
hair and light fingering. Yeah.
Yeah.
I checked. I was like, I have enough yards of this yarn. So we'll see. It's always hard when something new catches your eye and it's like, hmm. So that, um, and then you and I were talking about the twigs too.
Yes, the twigs.
So we'll see
So
about
we were talking about the twigs because we had seen on Tiny Human Knits had posted a video a while ago where
that.
she had finished her twigs and she posted on Instagram also.
Mhm.
And it's like a beautiful version. I mean, everyone's version of that sweater is beautiful,
It,
right?
it
Yeah.
every time I see another version or I just see that sweater, I'm reminded of how appealing it is. I like the aesthetics of it and the cut. Like I can just imagine some leggings and this oversized coat
Mhm.
sweater. The fact that it's fingering makes a lot more sense for where we're located in terms of getting wear. So we'll see. My yarn came, so I was like, I might make the twigs. And that she might make something, somehow that translates to let me buy yarn for it.
Right. Yeah.
So I actually bought some yarn for it, and I don't know why I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to make the twigs. Like, go ahead and commit to making the twigs. But anyway,
Yeah.
if anything, it'll be a year-long project.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a good way to pace it out and continue to knit on other things and
Yeah.
come
I
up.
have yarn in my stash. Like actually, after I just spent like 10 minutes talking about how I don't like purple, I have some yarn in my stash that's like a smoky purple,
Mhm.
but it's not as like pastel. It's a like warmer, like it's smoky. It's like a grayish purple.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then I have some like cream colored yarn that I think could work. And I of course have already made a twigs. If you haven't seen it, go back several episodes and I'm probably wearing it in the thumbnail. But I was like, oh, I can make another one.
Yes, yes, you can. My hat goes off to you, but if anyone can do it, you can. How long did it take you to make your other twigs? Do you remember?
It took me a long time because the pattern is one size.
Mhm.
Um, and at its widest, here, let me go grab it. Actually, it's right here. At its what?
This is gonna be a distance. What's the word? Disincentive. It's
No, it'll be an incentive because look how beautiful it is.
it is beautiful.
But at its widest, which is, before you split for the sleeves and the body, so like right around here, this pattern,
Mhm.
I want to say it's like at least 500 stitches, if not more, on your needles. So each round takes a long time.
Yeah.
So it goes pretty fast, this top part. And then once you get to these few bigger patterns, that part took forever. And then once I got down to the body and it was like it's still pretty wide, but it's like more normal,
I
starts to go faster again.
don't
But
know.
I think it took me 2 months maybe to finish it, would be in being pretty much the only thing I was working on sweater wise.
That's reasonable.
Mhm.
That's reasonable. I don't know. I don't know.
But it's just perfect. I mean, look at it. It's like, how do I, can't you just envision this in a like a smoky purple with white and like
I'm seeing it. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. Like you'll have your lighter color main color version and
yeah,
your darker main color version. I'm
yeah.
fine with enabling you to make a second.
Wait, what color did you get again? Did you get like browns and oranges or what did you get?
I mean, I'm predictable and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Being a tan cream color. And then I got oranges and browns. That's exactly it.
yeah. But that will look amazing too.
Yeah.
So I support that. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I have no idea. I mean, I want to definitely want to finish my plover and try and just keep, you know, keep going. Like we were talking a few weeks ago about how I kind of want to have a dream of having by the end of 2021 having like nothing on the needles except for like maybe one thing that I'm working on, just to like clear everything out and really get a fresh start. So that's in the back of my mind. But like, you know, I just started this the other day just because I also want to enjoy what I'm knitting. So I don't want to totally limit myself. So
Yeah. It's whatever, it's striking whatever is the appropriate balance for you
yeah,
and
yeah.
bring you joy.
Hmm.
Okay, people.
All right. Well, I think that's it, right?
I think so. I don't know why I'm hesitant to let y'all go, but
I know.
that's
Because it's been so long. We miss you.
it. Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we'll sign off. We'll hopefully be back in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's hard to say. I mean, I know from my perspective, we're in a very interesting place right now at work with everything that's going on and what's school going to look like for the rest of the year and whatnot. So that's definitely occupying a lot of my brain space. Um, but we will be back as soon as we can. And we hope that you guys will follow us on Instagram at Knit State of Mind, join our Ravelry group, like the video if you enjoyed watching today, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.